Have you ever felt a flicker deep inside? A spark that whispers of greatness, a potential waiting to be unleashed. We all have it. A heritage more powerful than we can imagine. This isn't about dusty old stories or faded photographs. It's about unlocking the destiny written in your very DNA. This heritage isn't just something we inherit. It's something we build on. It's about honoring the sacrifices of those who came before us. It's time to rise up and claim the inheritance that is rightfully ours. Are you ready? Our heritage is more than just a family tree. It's a spiritual lineage that stretches back through generations. From Abraham, the father of faith, to the countless men and women who have walked with God, we are surrounded by a cloud of witnesses. Their stories inspire us. Their victories empower us. These heroes of faith faced giants, overcame obstacles, and walked in incredible authority. They embraced their calling, knowing that God was with them every step of the way. The same power that raised Christ from the dead lives inside of you and me. We are heirs to a legacy of faith that can move mountains. It's time to step into the fullness of our inheritance and leave our own mark on the world. When we talk about heritage, it's easy to get caught up in the tangible, the family heirlooms, the stories passed down through generations, the physical characteristics we see in the mirror. These things are all precious threads in the tapestry of who we are. But our heritage runs far deeper. Our spiritual heritage is a rich inheritance of faith, courage, and resilience passed down from those who came before us. It's the unshakable foundation on which we stand, the wellspring of strength we can draw from when life's storms rage. This inheritance is not about worldly possessions or social standing. It's about the spiritual DNA we carry within us, the faith of Abraham, the boldness of Esther, the unwavering love of Jesus. It's about tapping into the same power that parted the Red Sea and raised Christ from the dead. It's time to embrace the legacy of faith that has been entrusted to us and let it shape who we are becoming. Imagine a relay race, 4 runners, each with their own strengths and weaknesses, working together towards a common goal. Our spiritual journey is much like this relay race. We are not running alone. We are part of a long line of faithful men and women who have paved the way for us. They have run their race with perseverance, passing on the baton of faith, hope, and love to the next generation. Now, it's our turn to take the baton. We have a responsibility to honor their legacy by running our race with the same passion and commitment. If I have seen further, Isaac Newton famously said, "It is by standing on the shoulders of giants." The same is true in our spiritual lives. We have the privilege of standing on the shoulders of spiritual giants, men and women who have dedicated their lives to seeking God and sharing His truth. Through their teachings, writings, and examples, they have illuminated the path for us, providing guidance and inspiration for our own journeys. Their sacrifices have paved the way for the freedoms and blessings we enjoy today. They have passed down a wealth of knowledge, wisdom, and experience that we can draw upon as we navigate the challenges of life. Let us approach our spiritual heritage with humility, recognizing that we are indebted to those who came before us. Let us honor their legacy by building upon their foundation and reaching for even greater heights in our walk with God. The Bible is filled with stories of men and women who understood the power of heritage. Take Abraham, for instance. Called by God to leave his homeland and journey to a new land, he stepped out in faith, his heart set on the promises God had made. His grandson Jacob inherited this legacy of faith. Jacob's 12 sons in turn became the patriarchs of the 12 tribes of Israel, their lives forever intertwined with the covenant God made with their grandfather Abraham. Each generation built upon the foundation laid by those who came before. They faced their own challenges, learned their own lessons, and experienced God's faithfulness in unique ways. Their stories remind us that we are part of a long and glorious lineage of faith. Centuries after Abraham, a young shepherd named David was anointed king of Israel. God made a covenant with David, promising that his throne would be established forever. This wasn't just about David, it was about a lineage, a heritage of kingship that would culminate in the coming Messiah. David's son Solomon inherited this throne, building the magnificent temple in Jerusalem. Generations later, even when the Israelites faced exile and hardship, they clung to the promise of David's eternal kingdom. This promise, passed down through generations, pointed towards something greater, something beyond the earthly reign of kings. David's legacy wasn't just about power or prestige. It was about God's faithfulness to his promises and the hope of a future king who would redeem his people. In the fullness of time, God sent his son, Jesus, born into the lineage of David, a descendant of Abraham. Matthew's gospel begins with a genealogy of Jesus, tracing his lineage back through generations, highlighting his rightful claim to the throne of David. Jesus embraced his heritage. He declared himself the Son of David, the fulfillment of the promise made centuries earlier. But Jesus' kingship wasn't what people expected. He came as a humble servant, a suffering savior, offering a different kind of kingdom, a kingdom of love, grace, and forgiveness. Through Jesus, we see the ultimate example of leveraging heritage. He embraced his lineage, fulfilled its purpose, and ushered in a new era of grace and truth. Think of your life as a beautiful tapestry. Every thread, every color represents a different part of your story. Some threads are bright and joyful, while others are dark and painful. But all of them are woven together by the master weaver, creating a masterpiece that is uniquely you. Your heritage is woven into the very fabric of your being. The love of your parents, the sacrifices of your grandparents, the wisdom passed down from mentors and teachers. All these threads contribute to the richness and beauty of who you are. Maybe you had a difficult childhood marked by pain or disappointment. But even in those difficult threads, God's grace shines through. Imagine building a house on sand. No matter how beautiful the structure, how grand the design, it will eventually crumble. But a house built on solid rock can withstand the fiercest storms. Our spiritual heritage is like that solid rock. It's the firm foundation upon which we build our lives. The faith of those who came before us, their unwavering trust in God's promises, their willingness to follow Him even when it was hard. These are the bedrock principles that will sustain us through life's challenges. We don't have to figure everything out on our own. We have the wisdom of generations at our fingertips. In the scriptures, in the teachings of the church, in the lives of those who have walked this path before us. Imagine for a moment a vast stadium filled with cheering spectators, They aren't there to watch a sporting event or a concert. They are there to cheer you on in your race of faith. These witnesses aren't simply passive observers. They are men and women who have run the race before us, who have experienced the faithfulness of God firsthand. They understand our struggles, our doubts, and our temptations. And they are cheering us on, urging us to keep running with perseverance, to never give up, to fix our eyes on Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith. They are all part of this great cloud of witnesses, their lives a testament to the power of God's grace. Our spiritual legacy, received, not achieved. We live in a culture obsessed with achievement, with making a name for ourselves, with leaving our mark on the world. But our spiritual legacy isn't something we earn or build on our own. It's a gift, freely given to us by the grace of God. Think about it. We didn't choose to be born into a family of faith. We didn't earn the sacrifice Jesus made on the cross. These are all gifts, freely given to us by a loving God who chose us before the foundation of the world. And just as we have received this inheritance, so we are called to pass it on to others. Imagine a tiny sapling straining to grow tall, boasting, "Look at me, I did this all by myself." But what the little sapling doesn't realize is that it's rooted in the nourishing soil, fed by the sun and rain, nurtured by the wind. Just like that sapling, we can be easily blinded by pride, forgetting the source of our strength and growth. When we disconnect from our heritage, we fall into the trap of believing we are self-made, that our accomplishments are solely our own. We begin to see ourselves as superior to those who came before us, forgetting that we stand on their shoulders, reaping the benefits of their hard work and sacrifice. Pride isolates us. It whispers, "You're better than this. You don't need anyone." And in our isolation, we become vulnerable to error, to the deceptive whispers that lead us astray from God's truth. When the Israelites turned away from God, rejecting his guidance and pursuing their own desires, they found themselves lost and wandering in the wilderness for 40 long years. They had forgotten the God who had delivered them from slavery, who had parted the Red Sea, who had promised to be with them always. Disconnecting from our spiritual heritage leaves us like those wandering Israelites, lost, confused, and vulnerable to the dangers that lurk in the shadows. We lose our bearings, our sense of direction, and our understanding of who we are and why we're here. The enemy of our souls loves to see us isolated and alone. He knows that a solitary ember is easily extinguished, but a fire that burns together is a force to be reckoned with. He wants us to forget the power of unity, the strength we find in community, the importance of standing together on the foundation of our shared faith. Psalm 133 verse 1 reminds us, "Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity." When we are connected to our spiritual heritage, we are connected to each other, to a community of believers who share our faith, our values, and our commitment to following Christ. We are stronger together, more resilient in the face of adversity, and more effective in fulfilling God's purposes in the world. Don't let pride or the lure of self-sufficiency lead you astray. Embrace your heritage. Stay connected to your spiritual family and walk in the fullness of the blessings God has for you. As we conclude this journey of exploring heritage, let the truth settle deep within your heart. You are an heir to an incredible legacy. Generations of faith have led to this very moment, this very breath you take. But it doesn't stop with you. You are not merely the end of a story. You are the beginning of something new. Who will you inspire with your story of faith, courage, and love? Whose life will you touch with the wisdom you've gleaned from those who came before you? What mark will you leave on the world that will point future generations back to the faithfulness of God? The answers to these questions are woven into the fabric of your destiny. Embrace your heritage not as a weight to carry, but as wings to help you soar. Stand tall on the shoulders of giants, and from that vantage point, reach out with open hands to those coming behind you. You have been entrusted with a precious gift, a legacy of faith, hope, and love. Don't let it fade away. Fan the flame, pass on the torch, and let your light shine brightly, illuminating the path for generations to come. The world is waiting to experience the unique expression of God's love that only you can offer. Go forth and leave your legacy of light.